Sophia Bush, the talented actress who rose to fame through her portrayal of a strong-willed fashion designer and entrepreneur in a long-running teen drama series set in a small North Carolina town, has opened up about her thoughts on the show's conclusion. While she expresses immense satisfaction with how the series wrapped up its nearly decade-long run, providing closure and emotional resonance for fans worldwide, there is one particular plot point from the final season that she wishes had been handled differently. In a heartfelt and candid discussion on a podcast dedicated to revisiting the show with her former co-stars, Bush shared her perspective on what could have been altered to make the ending even more perfect. The series, which captivated audiences with its mix of basketball dreams, romantic entanglements, family dramas, and friendships tested by time, concluded on a high note that Bush describes as feeling like a beautifully wrapped gift. The finale episode tied up loose ends, offered glimpses into the characters' futures, and celebrated the journey that had defined so many young viewers' experiences. However, when pressed about any elements she might change, Bush pinpointed a recurring antagonist from earlier seasons whose return in the 9th and final chapter felt unnecessary and somewhat jarring to her. This character, a dangerous criminal who had previously inflicted trauma on Bush's on-screen alter ego Brooke Davis, was brought back into the storyline after being paroled from prison. His reappearance involved stalking and harassing Brooke, reigniting old fears and adding tension to what was otherwise a season focused on growth, reconciliation, and happy endings. Bush questioned the purpose of this subplot, wondering aloud why it was deemed essential to revisit such a dark thread when the show was bidding farewell. She articulated that it seemed out of place, potentially detracting from the celebratory tone that the finale aimed to achieve. Brooke Davis was one of the most beloved characters on the show, a fierce, independent woman who evolved from a party-loving teenager into a successful businesswoman, mentor, and eventually a mother. The attacks she suffered in prior seasons were pivotal in showcasing her resilience and vulnerability, but bringing back the perpetrator felt redundant to Bush. It was as if the writers wanted one last dose of drama, but for the actress who lived through portraying those intense scenes, it raised questions about narrative choices and the messages sent to audiences about trauma and recovery. Discussing this with her podcast co-hosts, who also starred alongside her and brought their own insights, Bush emphasized her overall joy with the concluding episode. She highlighted how it served as a love letter to the fans, wrapping everything in a bow that honored the show's legacy. Time jumps, heartfelt speeches, and visions of future happiness provided the catharsis that long-term viewers craved after investing years in these fictional lives. The podcast itself has become a platform for the cast to reminisce, reveal behind-the-scenes stories, and process their experiences years later. It's a space of nostalgia and honesty, where they can critique constructively while celebrating what made the series special. Bush's comment about this one storyline opens up broader conversations about how television handles sensitive topics like assault and redemption, or lack thereof, for villains. In earlier seasons, the criminal's actions had far-reaching consequences, not just for Brooke but for the entire community of characters. He was responsible for violent acts that shook the core friendships and highlighted themes of loss and justice. His murder of another key character remains one of the show's most shocking moments, underscoring the high stakes of the drama. Yet, by the final season, many felt the story had moved past such darkness, focusing instead on maturity and new beginnings. Bush's desire to omit this return isn't about erasing past traumas but about prioritizing positivity in the endgame. It's a valid perspective from someone who embodied Brooke's strength and knows intimately how those storylines affected both the character and the actress portraying her. Over the years, Bush has been vocal about personal growth, advocacy for women's rights and mental health, often drawing parallels to her role. The show's transition from one network to another midway through its run brought changes in tone and direction, but it retained its heart. The finale, in particular, was praised for its emotional depth, featuring callbacks to iconic moments and ensuring each main character got a satisfying arc. Bush's fondness for it speaks volumes about the collaborative effort to end on a high. Reflecting further, one can see how revisiting old villains can sometimes undermine character development. Brooke had overcome so much: heartbreak, betrayal, professional hurdles, and facing her attacker again even briefly might have felt like a step backward. Fans have mixed opinions. Some appreciated the realism of threats lingering, while others agreed with Bush that it disrupted the feel-good vibe. As the years pass, reunions and rewatch podcasts keep the show's spirit alive, allowing stars like Bush to share these nuanced views. It's therapeutic for them and enlightening for listeners, revealing the thought processes behind creative decisions. Bush's career post the series has been diverse, spanning activism, producing and roles in medical dramas and beyond. Her openness about this one regret humanizes her and the creative process, showing that even beloved endings aren't flawless in everyone's eyes. In essence, while the finale remains a cherished chapter, Bush's wish for a slight alteration reminds us that art is subjective, and personal connections to roles run deep. It's a testament to the impact the show had on its cast, making their reflections as compelling as the episodes themselves.